Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Men's Podcast. I'm Danny.
I'm Demetri.
I'm Angie. I'm Marina.
And I'm Micah, and we're here today to, we're welcoming Angie and Marina to Men's Couch. So we're here today to talk about, what are we here to talk about, guys?
Friendship?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
covenant friendship, and what like intentional covenant friendship means to us, and to, what is like, I'm like interested to know like what everyone's perspective is on that like intentional like friendship and covenant friendship. So I guess I can start with, well, who wants to go first? Who wants to like talk about it first?
Can you go first so I can like understand what we're actually talking about?
Okay, so our topic was inspired by the weekend at Jubilee, and when we went to the conference, we realized that in our modern culture, covenant, and I'm going to reference Justin Earley as well. Shout out to him. So I'm going to reference him. But we realized that in our culture, covenant friendship, or friendship in general, is kind of like the current and like the norm is just loneliness, and it's just friend, like the even like the term friend, it's kind of sometimes can be devalued at times. And he also mentioned that we, like, our American culture shies away from the things that build a covenant friendship, like vulnerability and commitment and all those things, like honesty and authenticity. So I don't know what that noise is. Yeah, so we realized that over the weekend, and we kind of wanted to bring the topic of friendship on the podcast, even though like the friendship is like usually like a main topic that we talk about, but we also want to discuss it today and what covenant friendship means to each of us. So, and I for one am always gonna want to talk about friendship, but today you're going to talk about everyone's either, and also the questions I've had, like questions in the group chat that I had. What are the questions?
Is it the same one?
No. Okay. So the questions are, how can we go against the current of loneliness, and what do you do when you're afraid to put yourself out there again? Those are the questions. But we can like start, we don't have to start off with the questions. We can start with like, what does, when I say like covenant friendship or like intentional friendship, what does that mean to each of you?
Should we just go in order?
Yeah, we can go in order.
So I always felt like friendship meant like a close bond that people have together, whether it's like common interest with other people or like, just interaction between another person. Like friendships can like vary in a lot of ways. Like you can start out as like an acquaintance, for example, and then it just builds up from there until something actually happens with you and your friend, for example. And it depends on like what you do most of the time. Like I know for me, for example, is like when I make friends, like I start out by saying like, oh, hey, how are you? What's your name? And, like get to know them a little bit more. And then like other times, like the friendship like builds from there. You start like going out with them or like spending time together or hanging out. And then it just, adds and adds on until maybe become a girlfriend or like best friend, for example.
Oh, we're going in order, sorry.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I hope some of you missed me last week that are listening. Anyway, what friendship, I guess, means to me, I guess what we're talking about. I guess just keeping me busy. I mean, I guess friends I've made here so far keep me involved in things. Like, I feel like us going to men's group is probably your idea. Or maybe it's both of our ideas, I don't really remember. It keeps me busy on days like today.
Yeah. Oh, also, so another thing is, how about Well, yeah, what we're talking about is good. I don't want to cut you off, but like,
Okay.
saying like intentional friendship, like, what is that? What is that like? What do those words like mean to you?
What is like intentional though? I don't
So
understand.
intentional, it's like you're, like kind of like making like those efforts of vulnerability and commitment, and kind of like what we've been building up on like over the past semester. Is like we're being intentional by even like the podcast is
Like
made.
being vulnerable, like being vulnerable with friends.
Well, that too, but also like making like the time like we meet like with the podcast we meet to discuss important like emotional in-depth things. But to you, what like just like continue. I don't want to like cut you off.
No, that's cool. I'm just like kind of confused. Okay. Yeah, I feel like for me, like you, I'm like you definitely helped me in my first semester, like staying involved. Well, actually, literally pushing me to like do things when I didn't really want to do things. That helped.
I guess.
I needed someone like that in the first semester. So I didn't really like. It was like I didn't know anybody, so that was good. It worked out. You know, I always say that though. Like you're probably the reason I'm in the fraternity and everything. But anyways,
I'm glad.
yeah, it's good. And then yeah, just keep me busy, I guess. Like the friends. Well, I mean, also just like having people to like talk to, I guess.
Why is that important to you, having people to talk to?
Just talking about things I'm like passionate about. Like certain friends, I'll talk to them. I'm like, oh, they can just relate to me. Or mainly just like talking to people that like. I mean, some people I talk to more than others, obviously, because that's how it is. You have groups, but also like my friends back home, they hold me like I don't know. It's always like I feel like talking to them because like they can like they know me like back then, so they know like change and stuff that I've changed, and just they help me if I'm going on wrong paths. It's like they understand me better, I guess.
So you're saying like friends can help you stay on the right path, and
Yeah, because like they just like they know me kind of well, and also just like
or keep you like accountable.
I like to think so, because like
okay.
there were like things that happen or things that they do that like they don't want me to do. They're like, oh yeah, you shouldn't do this.
Okay.
Because like they do, and they're like, yeah, it probably wouldn't be good for you. Like they look out for me in that way, whether it's like, like
Yeah.
smoking or anything, whatever they do.
Right.
They're like, I don't know, I don't know if you should do that. You can if you want. It's like up to you. I'm like, okay, I appreciate you looking out. I'll take it into consideration, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, friendship means a lot to me.
Yeah.
I'm a very emotional person, and I'm a person that focuses a lot on poles. So I'm
Okay.
either at 0 or I'm at 100%
Okay.
effort. So normally with friendship, I'm on a 100% in situation. So for me, vulnerability is definitely a part of a really valuable friendship.
Yeah.
Because I'm typically very open, and I appreciate someone who listens, and I also love someone who they trust me with things for me to listen to, because that brings an openness and that brings a trust.
Okay.
And having trust is really like you said, someone that's dependable that you can go to.
Okay.
And I feel like if you were going to have a really intentional covenant friendship, it's going to be something where you're not really afraid anymore to go to them.
Okay. So you're not like maybe like initially you might be like a little like things might be awkward, or you might be like have some hesitancy, but like when you
Right.
build up that trust, then it becomes like natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you, but when I first make friends and things, there's always those awkward silences. There's always those times where you're afraid that you're going to say the wrong thing, that you're going to ruin your first impression, that you're going to do all of
Yeah.
that. Once you get to a point where you would consider it a covenant friendship, it would be like you guys are locked in on a promise that you've made to one another,
Mhm.
that you're going to be vulnerable and open and have a trusting relationship.
Wow, that's like a good definition.
Yeah.
Can you beat that, Angie?
What? Oh,
It's
okay.
a good definition.
I can relate to you a lot in what friendship means to her. Sorry, my throat is just really dry right now. Yeah, I definitely think that friendship should hold a deeper meaning to everyone. I feel like friendship is a word that is often just thrown around. Acquaintance, my friend. Someone you just met, my friend. And I think that it's like you can use the word acquaintance, you can use the word coworker, you can use the word classmate. So yeah, I just think it holds a deeper meaning as to what that person really means to you. I think Justin did a really good job at, or Mr. Early, should I say? He did a really great job at describing what a friendship should look like. Somebody that you can go to in your most vulnerable state and try not to be afraid of what they could do with that information, because it's not a one-way street. It's a two-way street where you both have that same level of trust and vulnerability with each other.
And people won't like use that against you.
Yeah. And a huge thing that I probably sometimes struggle with looking for in friendships is that vulnerability.
Okay.
That kind of trust that you have with each other. Which it's not easy. It's better said than easier
said
done.
than done.
Yeah. Because sometimes you feel like, oh, like, should I trust them, or are they gonna, like, what's it gonna look like? What's the relationship gonna look like in some time? Like, am I still gonna be able to trust that person or stuff like that?
Yeah.
So it's definitely easier said than done. But I think also having someone that holds you accountable to things and can have that, like, can have that confidence in the relationship to
security.
Yeah, to be able to tell
yeah.
you, hey, like, you're doing this wrong, like, you're making a mistake, because sometimes people are so afraid of telling you, hey, you're doing this wrong, or you feel like, oh, like, they're my friend, I have to support them through everything, but you supporting through everything is also kind of giving your friends a wake up reality when they need it, and also accepting that back. And I've always had that value in relationships, because it's something where the people who love you or even care about you should be able to tell you what you're doing wrong, so you can fix that and not be that person, or not have that, or reform the ways that you're falling into that really aren't being purposeful in your life. And you can do the same, because if you love someone, you want them to be the best they can and feel the
like
healthiest they can.
See who they are.
Yeah, in physical and mental aspects. So someone who can do that to you, who can give you your truths when you need it, and you can accept that back to them, and you can be there for each other, be vulnerable, talk
like
about things.
That unconditional, like, acceptance with the vulnerability. I think that's, like, so important.
Yeah.
Is that, like, I know this person will accept me despite, even if I revealed this part of myself. And I think I kind of, when you're, like, finished, I kind of want to segue into, like, how that affects men and why we're so, like armored up.
Yeah. I think there's a difference between the problems that women have in friendship and the problems that men have in friendship. I've been in situations where jealousy gets in the way, or things get in the way of women. I think that's a problem that women face a lot in friendships. And yeah, sometimes it can be hard to find people who can know things about you and be vulnerable. Again, vulnerability is a huge thing, but I feel like I'm rambling, so I'll just turn the time over to you. Or whoever wants to. Go ahead.
Well, I didn't want to dispute, but okay. It's funny because I feel like any argument I've ever had with my friends, it's literally just been about, like, I don't know, there was, like, sports or something, or, like, we're playing sports, playing, like, basketball. I'm like, I think I've thought about this before. Like, the not like the only time I get mad, but the main time I get, like, not like upset at my friends, more like a competitive thing. I'm, like, pushing them. I'm saying, like, come on, or, like, I was getting, like, annoyed. Oh yeah, okay. One thing that Gary said earlier, I forget what he said. He said, like, one thing he doesn't want to change about himself is, like, how he always tells the truth. Or what is the word he used?
Authenticity?
Yeah. Okay, wait. That brought up a good point to me.
So how do you connect that aspect of authenticity to friendship?
Okay. So yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Because I feel like sometimes, even with, like, my closest friends, it's hard to, like, tell the truth to them. Not like tell the truth to them, but it's hard to be, like, upfront about, like, something. Like, if they're, like, dealing with something. Well, no, I always, like, tell the truth, but it's like, sometimes it's, like, relationship things. Like, for example, my one friend might be like, oh, I'm still, like, thinking about this girl, and I'm like, I, like, comfort him, but at the same time, it's like, before like I was in a relationship, before things ended, I was like, okay, just like move on. It's not that hard. But then like I realized it, and then I was like, okay, now I can relate to that.
So
fully.
you develop empathy through your own experience, and then you're able to empathize with your friend.
Yeah, but that also makes me think that like what Gary said earlier about being authentic. It's a lot harder to be authentic than like you would think. Like just you would think it'd be easy to tell the truth, but sometimes it's like really hard. Not like tell the truth, but it's hard to be like completely honest with like someone.
Yeah. The way that I see like authenticity in friendship is fully like being yourself in friendship. And like for me, with my like history with like high school, that was like very hard to do because it was, my authenticity was rejected when I did show up as like my authentic self. It was rejected. So then when I like internalized that a lot to mean that I shouldn't be authentic in friendship. But actually, what we learned this weekend is that actually we need to be authentic in friendship, so that that we can have that covenant, that true friendship.
Wait. Does authentic just mean honest?
So to me, like authentic means like you're
so.
real, but like for me, authentic means like you're like yourself around your friends.
Oh,
like you're able to be
okay.
yourself. I think what you're kind of like talking about is like being
I was being
honest.
I thought that's what authentic meant.
I think yeah. So like authenticity means like you're yourself around your friends, but with that you're talking about like honesty and being honest to them, like telling them like the truth.
I think it's appropriate to be said that if you're going to have a true friendship with somebody, if you're not yourself or you're putting up a mask in front of them, they're not one of your friends.
Yeah.
And I know that's sad and things because some people it's genuinely really hard to try to come out of your shell and drop that mask because they're afraid of judgment and they're afraid that someone's going to judge them for who they truly are because that's deep down who they are and they can't change that. And so people are afraid to do that, so that's where people pleasers come into the framework and things. And like I've gone into friendships multiple times trying to fit in with popular groups and trying to
don't tell me about that. I have history with that.
Where I was not that at all, and I was the opposite of that. And later on in life, I kind of came to a conclusion where it's like you like me or you don't, and it's your freaking loss if you lose me.
That's like, but it's like for me, it was like very hard to come to that because I was always like trying to be like kind of like a chameleon kind of you maybe you don't like notice it, like you're kind of just like a chameleon, and especially like in high school because it was so important for me to find acceptance from people like outside of me. But now I'm realizing that we trade in our authenticity to just like be with like the group kind of.
I always feel like from my perspective on like in high school, like I always try to fit in with like people who are more superior than me. Like say for example, the popular kids.
Yes.
They had like a lot of sense, a lot of common knowledge of like how to fit in with people, and I wasn't really like that in high school. I was always like the quiet introvert, like trying to find friends wisely, and I came to a conclusion that one day I would find, I did have people in high school that did have the same interests with me, but not as many like as I do right now.
Okay.
And like coming here, I found people that had my interests. Like me and you share like common arts together and like Century Media and church groups.
Yeah.
Like I tried finding groups that were like musical or pretty much all the activities that I pursue on joining right now.
Okay.
And that's like how I made those people.
Yeah, it's how you meet it becomes more natural.
Yeah, like pretty much saying like you're associated with those people, and like the friendship like already happened, you already agreed them, like you cannot ruin that friendship unless you have their approval.
Oh, everybody's looking at me. Yeah, I think authenticity is kind of a thing where you fall into it as you mature and as you age and as you have experiences. I think we all, including myself, probably had a phase where we wanted to fit in, which is completely normal because it's part of human nature to want to fit in to your crowd or find people that accept you or things like that. But especially when we're younger, people probably are, we're probably not mature enough and they're probably not mature enough.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when you want to establish a sense of authenticity, they might not receive it well, because they're also putting up walls too. Those popular kids probably definitely are putting up walls, and you are too, thinking that they're being their most authentic selves when they're not even their authentic selves. So it's kind of a thing where you mature and you age and you have experiences and you begin to notice that everyone is kind of trying to find their people, and you will find your people too, but you sometimes have to go through experiences to learn how to be authentic and how to have healthier relationships. Sorry, I just
That's good. It's really good. It's,
I had a blank.
A question that I did ask earlier is about like how, because I feel like a problem with men is that we kind of have like invisible armor. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
Do you have insight on that? Do you have like?
I kind of do.
Yeah.
Because about 3 years I lived in Texas.
Okay.
And I found no friends. The school I went to, the high school and middle school that I went to, was just a hellscape. It was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
No one was themselves, and it was bully central, and it was horrible. And I met one of the probably the best friend I have ever had in my life at church, and it was a man. It was a dude.
Yeah.
His name was Gideon, and
Okay.
I'm very Bible name. I was very blessed to have him, but obviously at first it wasn't that vulnerability at first. It was the
Okay.
fact that we just were forced to spend time together because our parents were in the same Sunday school, and we went to the same church and the same school together. And so at first you see that men are not immediately open, and that's okay, because masculinity kind of is seen in society as masculinity is seen as armor. Masculinity is seen as tough, and vulnerability is the opposite of tough.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that's the case. But honestly, from what I've seen, like, men are really genuine and awesome people. It just might take a little bit more time. But if you have the willingness to spend that time with them and
Like
urge
have that
them,
patience.
Yeah, have the patience. But
which actually goes along with covenant friendship is patience. But what do you think about like armor, like having that? So what I mean by that, it's like, so I feel like, and this, of course, this is like true, is that men are socialized to have that armor, to like kind of have like their guard up when it comes to friendship, and like maybe engaging in a friendship. Like you said, at first, like the armor's there, and it's kind of like hard to, and it can be awkward to like maneuver through that and try to, if our goal is intentional friendship, how do we like go from having our like armor up, and if we're still like socialized to do that, and how can we become more, I guess the word is, I guess vulnerable, or just like more, I don't know if to say like emotionally intelligent, or how can we like get to that place where we're like comfortable with that level of
Like
intimacy, openness, and intimacy. Sorry.
So you mean like going from, okay, I see what you're saying. So like you mean like from how we started, how did we get to how we are now?
So how can we go from like, if you're socialized to be like, okay, man up, or this is how men are, how do you go from that to engaging in a friendship that is open, and how do we develop intimacy out of that? Like just pretend like I'm asking this question because I actually genuinely want to know. I still like am on that like for men's friendships, I'm still like wondering like, how do we get to that place, and why is it so hard?
For me, thinking about past experiences, like past friends I have it back at home, how it became that. Just, I guess, repetition. I guess seeing them more and more.
Okay.
In the sense that if I see someone more often, I'm probably more likely to like talk about other things that, besides like the most basic forms of communication, just saying like, oh hey, how's your day? Like you talk to people more.
Yeah.
The more you, it's like anything. It's like, you tie your shoes once, like 10 times, you learn how to tie your shoes.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was like literally about to ask you that question, but I can keep going. Yeah, I just feel like just seeing them more. Like I mentioned earlier, like the relatability aspect of it. Like if you have like common things, you guys both,
What were we gonna ask?
Oh yeah, because before you said anything, I was gonna ask you. I was like, what does it take? Like, I mean, I guess we gotta say everyone here, but like, what does it take? Like, how does someone earn your trust?
Oh, that's a
It's
good
a
question.
hard question to
That's
answer.
a good question. Why don't you
Like, how did I
answer?
earn your trust? If I did.
Got it.
So basically, they have to be like an open person. Technically, like they have to be nice to me and like earn my respect, pretty much.
Yeah, it's earn.
And they have to like respect me back. Like,
Yeah.
They just can't like have to. Kind of hard to say, but they can't just like do themselves. They have to do like what the other person. Yeah, like the other person literally just earns their trust. Like you have to listen to them.
Okay.
I feel like trust earning is different for each person.
Yeah.
Because people have different values that are more important to them. So
Yeah.
for me, if you're gonna earn my trust, I need to. It's hard to. It left my mind for a second there, but if you're gonna earn my trust, what you have to do is you have to listen.
Mhm.
You have to listen to me, and you need to listen to what's going on in my life. And you
Yeah.
also, if I say sensitive information, you have to be willing to not share with people. You have to be willing
Yeah.
to you have to be willing to keep the things in your relationship personal to you guys.
Like in the relationship, yeah. in the
Yeah, you have
friendship,
to keep
yeah.
it personal to you guys, and it's like immediately my trust is broken if you say something to someone else that
Mhm.
I give you personally, and it's like you betrayed that, then you're losing my trust in that one. But I think listening is really important for me when it comes to earning my trust, and like
Okay.
I'll listen to you to show that I want to pursue this friendship, or I want to pursue a trusting relationship. I will try to listen to you.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
You guys all have really great answers. Listening is definitely a huge thing. I think there's definitely a difference between hearing someone and listening to someone, because along with listening to someone, you come to understand who they are.
Yeah.
And like, aside from hearing, you just listen. You're just kind
You're
of
hearing like, yeah.
getting everything they're saying, and it goes in one ear and out the other.
Yeah.
But when you listen to someone, you actually begin to learn more about them. You begin to understand them. You begin to understand their journey, why they are the way they are.
The whole person.
Yeah, you know the person on a deeper level. Trust, the same thing. You know, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Of course, if it's like safe.
Yeah.
But if you like see things in a person that are concerning to their safety or to others, due to the same care that you have with that person, you'll want to seek out help for them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also a thing. Also, I feel like having experiences with them, seeing how they handle things,
React to things.
because it's very easy to be friends with someone who everything's going fine, everything's great.
Yeah.
But when you go through difficulties together, like they always say, like the real colors come out, and you begin to see who they really are.
It shows like, okay, like when those like situations come up, it shows like how like secure the friendship is. Like, are we able to secure the friendship despite what is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you see like rough patches, maybe those experiences can make those friendships stronger.
Yeah.
Because you
yes,
have like, not like trauma bonds, but you.
Like you're emotionally bonded to that person.
Yeah. Yeah. And you also like understand them in that way too.
Yeah.
I have a thought, but I can't remember it. It was something else. I can't remember.
Yeah. And people are always saying, like, people are like, I'm afraid of conflict. I'm just gonna like say it right here. I'm afraid of conflict. I don't like conflict, but conflict actually strengthens a bond. And I think when those like situations arise, we need to like lean into that instead of just like trying to avoid it, because avoiding it can like kind of make it grow. Sorry. Make it grow. So I think like when we lean into that uncomfortable, whether it be like just conflict or getting to know someone, when we lean into the awkwardness, and we lean into it because it is uncomfortable, instead of like avoiding it, then we get to know someone, and we get to know like who they are, and just we get to experience that. I do kind of like want to segue back. Oh, go ahead.
I just have a question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that like rough patches and difficult circumstances can kind of induce forced vulnerability?
Yes.
Almost. Yeah.
I think it can. It makes like it creates an environment for vulnerability once things once things happen. You kind of are just like. Say like it just like in a conflict, say okay, I'll say to Demetri like, okay, this is like where I'm like triggered or whatever. I'll like say this is like my weak places, and you're able to like have that acceptance of that, and you're able to understand each other better. I
was gonna say a
Okay.
quick thing about intuition. I find that also in certain relationships it's more appropriate than others.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like getting outsiders' perspective on the relationship and kind of going with your gut instinct in certain things, if you think, particularly when it comes to trust, like, do you think you can trust this person? Because sometimes I feel like your intuition tells you a lot.
Yeah.
Because you catch things like subconsciously or I don't know, when you see like how the other person engages with other people, how they treat other people, and if their words line up with their behaviors, or if they're just meaningless words. I feel like words are very important in a relationship, and also the fact that their actions line up to them, because then it's like kind of, if they tell you like, hey, you can trust me, like how valuable is their word if their actions aren't lining up to their
What do you have
to
to
their
say?
actions.
You like have to say something.
Sorry, no, I was thinking about a song in my head.
Oh.
Sorry, you can go.
Yeah, so I think within those situations, because I have like a history of not trusting my intuition, and I'm trying to get better at that. I have like that history of just like, no, I shouldn't listen to this. But I think now I'm starting to understand those things and understand people. It's not, no, you're not rejecting this person if you see like some inconsistencies. Like this is like an actual thing.
It's an actual
It's a thing.
situation.
So it's not like, you're not like, because I'm always like afraid of being mean, but you're not being mean by like noticing something.
Yeah,
And I think that's important.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes it's I've had like, segueing to God, my pastor has always said a phrase, and he says that it's not even, I forget like the premise of it, but it's something along the lines of not being optimistic, not being mean, and not being pessimistic, but being realistic.
Oh my gosh. That should be like a flag.
And I try to live by that as much as
Yeah.
I can. But it's just the fact that sometimes you can care for a person, you can nurture them, you can love them, but sometimes there's something genuinely like wrong with some people, and the best way that you can love them and care for them is to sometimes lead them to a way to receive the help that they may need, because that's sometimes all you can do. Sometimes friendship can be very sticky, where you also have to maintain a level of self-respect for yourself,
Yeah.
and respect for the other person, and see when sometimes friendships, they're not, you can't rescue it, or just a
like
lot
what
of
he said, what Justin said about like trying to like let go, and then
the best way is to let go, and I don't know, I think maybe guiding that person to help, but sometimes you can't be part of their next chapter.
You can't be like God. You can't be like the
Yeah,
Holy
which
Spirit.
is part of like, I sometimes struggle with that because I'm like, I don't know if it's like a savior mentality, but I
Savior
like
complex?
to, yeah,
I have that a lot.
which is bad, which is not good.
Mhm.
It's good to help people and like care for people, but like throwing it out there, savior complex is not good, because it can
drains
often
you.
it drains you mentally, it drains you physically, it drains you emotionally,
Mhm.
and it leaves a bad taste in your mouth with future relationships. And it's not like, I think they did a really good job at summarizing this at Jubilee. Like, we're finite.
Mhm.
We have our limits. We can't fix everything. Like, we're not Bob the Builders, you know?
Bob
we
the
can't
Builder.
fix
That's a good
everyone.
reference.
Yeah, it's just throwing that out there because I know that I'm one of those people who thinks that they can
Try to
fix or help people
fix this person.
more than I probably actually can. And
Yeah.
sometimes the best way that I can actually help people is
Is
to
to,
make
like-
sure that they get help from somebody else.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if
Sure. I don't know about you guys, but one of my favorite sayings to live by is that love does not equal acceptance.
Okay.
So when someone has something that you don't agree with, or some problem that they're following, that you don't want to see them go down that rabbit hole, and you don't like what they're doing.
And that's where
maybe
like honesty comes in.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's honesty.
it doesn't mean that you don't love the person, and it doesn't mean that you don't have a genuine friendship with them. It just means that you might not accept the decisions that they make, and that's when reaching out for help can be really appropriate, is
Mhm.
because love does not necessarily mean accepting what they're doing fully.
Yeah.
It could be reaching out to other people to try to help that person,
Yeah.
and definitely learning where to let go is very
God.
very
So hard.
necessary.
So
I
hard.
lost that best friend from Texas.
Okay.
Completely lost him. And like I've kind of learned that I have those memories, and I have those amazing times in my life, and I have the influence that he made on me,
Mhm.
but that was a time period, and God used him in my life to help me through that time period, and I can look back on that in good memories, but I can't leave that friendship with spite
With like regret.
and with regret.
With regret.
And
yeah.
I've become a better person coming out of it, but I mean, losing a friend is hard,
Yeah.
but coming out of it is almost a more beautiful thing, because you
Yeah.
both are going to grow outside of one another, if that makes sense.
That's like so good. What do you have to say about that?
About that? What about?
Yeah, what were we talking about?
I was thinking about the reason I was like thinking earlier. I was thinking about like the other question about like how we can what was it? It was like how we can avoid loneliness or something.
Okay, so
If we're
that's
waiting
like-
to talk about that, we can wait to talk.
No,
about
we can
that.
talk. That's a good thing that you mentioned that, because men do have a problem, like a loneliness problem. How can we?
'Cause I don't know like how long we're gonna be talking for. That's why I don't know.
we've gone for like an hour sometimes.
We've gone.
Over an
We've
hour.
gone for a long time.
I want to talk about this, but we can wait. If you
I want to talk about this. So,
Right now?
Almost
Yeah.
40 minutes, technically.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how? What are your like perspectives on how men can like
how we can avoid loneliness? Is that what we're
overcome that loneliness
Okay.
factor?
Okay, from personal experience, I guess from coming here, like starting fresh, like I said, I made my parents and like my brother said this too, but like trying to make a habit of like going to, because you remember like the first week there was all those like
Events.
Yeah, exactly.
Events where we met at the
So it's just, like,
bonfire.
yeah, just like putting myself out there, and it was kind of hard too because my roommate like wasn't even there with me. Well, he was, and then he like left after like 5 minutes because he was like, oh yeah, like I'll just like make friends in class. I was like, okay. So it was just me, so it was like even harder. But I kind of just got lucky. Like I don't know, like I was just standing there because like it was me. Cause, like, it seemed like everyone already had their groups, and then like it was just Royce. Royce was just like to my right.
We love Royce. We love you, Royce.
Yeah, like I just got lucky because Royce was
Love
just
you,
like
Royce.
he was just like there when I was just standing there, and then I think he said something to me first. I don't even remember what we said. I was like, "Oh hey, what's up, man?" Because it was just us. Like we were both like that, like kind of like the, I guess not like the outsiders. We kind of were because we were just like out on the edge.
Okay.
And then like he was like, "Oh, like I think I see someone. I think it was you or something." I think so. He like pointed at you. He like pointed at you. He's like, oh, but okay. Anyways, like I was saying, yeah, I feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm giving really bad advice right now. It's like putting yourself out there, but like I can't, like I don't know, because that's just like I just got lucky. Really, I'm talking about college, but also
in life, like how can men? Because
okay, I got you.
The statistics are like, okay, men are like so lonely. Like, where do you like? Where's your like thing about those like readings and statistics?
Okay, I
about
got
that?
you. I'll be honest. Sometimes, like not all the time, but like sometimes, like I kind of just like this is me. Like this is like personal experience. Like I feel like sometimes, like I just like want to be alone. I don't know.
Well, that's the difference. Just that, like, that's healthy. Like seeking like healthy solitude. I'm talking about like with like the loneliness, like the men's loneliness problem. Like, what is going on? Like, how can we like add? Like, how can we add it to this conversation? Like, what do you think is going on with that?
This is
I mean, we'll go to like Daniel if you have like something to say about that.
You can add something.
Let's go to
yeah.
Daniel.
Wait, what was the question?
So, right now, men are having a loneliness problem, and it's like affecting like mental health and everything. How can we approach that? What are we like? What can we do to approach those issues?
Well, I definitely think like men should be like more open to other people and like definitely put themselves out there because you only live once. I'm always thinking like from my perspective because I'm a man. I always like talk to as much people as possible and try to greet them and like try to figure out like what their interests are, and I can try to like group up with them and like start conversations saying like, hey, I heard you're in this. I was also in that too. And then the conversation just goes on and on from that.
So, okay, I guess and now like get to you guys.
Okay.
So
I'll get to you guys.
To you guys.
So I think I'm gonna go like my perspective is always unlearning what you've learned and unlearning and learning more of what is possible in a friendship versus like what you learn. I feel like men and maybe I think this is decreasing now that we've like learned how to like sort of like distance ourselves from the relational part of ourselves because we've been told that men need to be like the lone wolf, need to be like the strong one that like doesn't need anyone, and it's like hard to like battle those like mindsets because you know you need friendship, but then like you were raised to believe that you should just do life on your own. So it's like kind of like that like internal battle of like overcoming those the natural, not natural tendencies, but the default tendency is to just not be as emotionally invested, not be as open because that was like socialized out of us. But when we're children, and it's interesting is that we're not like that. We're not, you're just like naturally just emotional and you're in your natural state to want to be relational. But when you're like socialized to be a certain way, then that's like kind of, you only know that that's normal. And I give like an example, like we talked about affirmation and affection and men's friendships. And that was super uncomfortable for us to talk about because it's just something that wasn't necessary. It was kind of like socialized away from us, not maybe like directly like you shouldn't do this, but like through like just growing up and just witnessing other men in your life, you see that this is normal, is to just be like emotionally like distant and like cold. I don't want to say like cold. I'm saying cold and like
I mean, it is
air quotes.
cold. It is.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Think about it, or at least outwardly, that's what you're. Oh, well, I forgot about this. That is what you're putting out there, even though it's not
Your intention.
It's outside, like outwardly. That's what you're demonstrating or exhibiting to other people, but on the inside, it's the complete
Not
opposite.
your desire.
I feel like friendship is kind of a trial and error thing.
Mm-hmm.
How would you know when you meet someone that this will work out and maybe this won't work out?
It's at risk.
I feel like as a Christian, or if you're a believer, I advise that the best way you can probably seek out the most healthy friendships is to ask God for discernment. I feel like that's really the only thing that can. Also, going through experiences and seeing past experiences, but also there's a fine line with that, to not relish so much in your past, but also, I mean, your past experiences are important because they shape who you are. They shape things, but not to such an extreme to where, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be lonely because nothing worked out in the past. Not so much as that. So
we kind of talked about that at like the conference. Is like, what do you? And that was kind of like my other like question is like, how do you open yourself back up after maybe you experience like a friendship blowout or something happened in your past?
Yeah.
Like, how do you like open yourself back up? That's like kind of like my other question.
I feel like I'll answer that and then I'll pass out the mic because I don't want to hog it. I feel like the best way to do that is to learn how to heal.
Yeah.
Because I've always heard the saying like, hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
So if you are recently out of whatever type of relationship and it ended not great due to different circumstances, and you're already kind of looking for a rebound relationship, and I don't mean rebound relationship just in romance.
Sense.
There can be friendship rebounds too.
Yeah. So you kind of use that to like get over like the past thing.
It's
yeah.
So friendship rebounds and learning how to heal without jumping into something right away because you want to forget a circumstance or forget something. Learning to heal healthy, and then opening yourself up to, which is hard. It's hard.
Very hard.
It's hard, and that's the ideal like situation. But it's a lot easier said than done. But I feel like that's the only way because you can't relish in the past and be healthy. I don't know. It's just
because it's interesting that you said that now. Like you can talk. It's interesting that you said that because I was like very like surprised that I was able to like hit it off with Demetri really well, and that kind of stirred up some fear in me because I'm not like used to things feeling secure, and so when that feels secure, you want to push yourself away, and I have a history of like doing that because of like just like friendships that didn't work out where you like emotionally you were like invested in it, but it just didn't work out. And then to have someone that wants to have like a secure friendship with you can be like very scary, at least for me, because it's like, well, this person actually is like responsive. So
because it's a sign of actual commitment.
Yeah, it's a sign of commitment. Maybe that's why it's like there could be like a fear of commitment in friendship because maybe of what you've experienced in the past.
I think there's definitely a fear of commitment when something goes wrong and you lose somebody because you don't want to commit to that, like we mentioned. But I loved something that I'm so sorry, his name is slipping my mind, but the author who spoke to us at Jubilee. Justin, yeah.
Yeah.
Something that helped him like jump back into commitment is kind of thinking back on being a kid and having that bliss of just innocence and things. And sometimes you have to take that awkward step, force yourself to take that awkward step of literally just asking, hey, do you want to be my friend?
That is like so scary to ask. Like, hey, do you want to be friends? It's so scary to like, but that I do like what you said about like that mindset of like going back to that child mindset. It kind of goes with like what I said about like how men are lonely is because reflecting on that, on how we've been socialized, is like we got to think back to our child mind. We weren't like, we didn't have all these like walls up. We were like very open to people and open to connection. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
That'd be so creepy if someone says like, oh hey, let's be friends.
Like, what are your thoughts on like just having that, like going back to that child innocence, that mindset? Not that you're like blind to things, but you're actually taking risk and putting yourself out there. Like, what is that to you as and how do you think that could help men's friendships?
You mean so you're okay? So you're saying like putting yourself out there.
Like, how can having that child mindset of trust and assuming and not like when you're like starting a friendship, how can because we usually like well for me I usually like assume like the negative. So how can we like get out of that and go back to like the child mindset that we had, where we're like more open to connection?
Or like, what do you assume Okay, I'm genuinely asking because I'm curious. But like, what do you mean like you assume the negative about like another person?
So when you're like making like when you're trying to like make new friends or when you're trying to make connections, it's like we're always like assuming rejection, like this person wouldn't like me.
Oh, I see what you're saying,
like
okay.
stuff like that. So how can we like go back to that child mindset?
So you're saying okay? So when we were when we were kids, we were like when you were kids, like you're friends with everybody in your class.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what
okay.
I'm saying.
Yes.
So trying to think
Not going back
to
to not like chronologically. Let's go back to a child, but like
it's pretty weird to
with a
think though.
mindset.
Now I'm thinking about it, how like I don't know, because I feel like when I was like a kid, I feel like it's like we just like didn't care like what we said to like anyone.
Yeah.
It's actually weird to think about that right now.
And now like we feel like we feel more insecure
That is
about
so interesting, actually.
things than we did when we were children, and that has a lot to do with how men can be sometimes. And for me, it's hard because I'm a sensitive person. I'm like not the regular like guy that is like. Amen, brother. I'm not like the regular like guy that is more is like kind of like I don't know.
Would you say you're more in tune with your emotions?
Yeah, like I'm more of like I don't know if you know what like an HSP is, but like
No, I'm not
that
familiar.
that terminology like kind of like relate to like empath, but yeah, like
okay.
HSP.
You know your personality type?
Yeah.
Briggs-Myers?
Yeah, Myers-Briggs, the
Yeah.
INFJ.
Yeah.
So is mine, Micah.
So Demetri's like, I don't know what you're talking
Yeah, I don't
about.
know. I don't know.
We found out together in Jubilee that we share the same personality.
I thought yours is like E something.
Extrovert.
Yours is on the
That's as far as I
extrovert.
know.
Anyway, but how can
something.
so for me knowing
don't
that
know.
I like am not a part of like the norm, it's like it's kind of hard for me sometimes because when I'm trying to make friends with other men, it can kind of feel awkward because I'm wanting that vulnerability and that kind of I don't know, I'm just a very emotional person, so having someone that's like kind of I don't know, this is hard because yeah, just having someone that's like the opposite can be hard sometimes, but I think it takes a lot of patience to accept their personality. Yeah, it's kind of like segueing into that.
I don't know. It makes you think like now that I'm thinking right now about like introverts and extroverts. Well, I mean, you're talking about how like you're more like I guess reserved. I guess.
Well, I'm reserved, but yeah, I'm sensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The more I think about it, and this probably gives us like not like a broad question, but it's like I wonder like what causes it. I wonder if it's more like you're like we were born. It was like a born thing, or the way we were like raised, or it was like
Nature
That
versus
could be
nurture.
that could be a topic.
Because I'm genuinely I'm thinking I'm thinking like what makes us more introverted, even though you're not even that introverted, but okay. You.
I mean, that could be like we can save it for like another topic because I don't want to get like
Yeah.
too out of like.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Oh, sorry. I was
topic.
Yeah.
And we're like
I
kind
got
of
filled with new thoughts.
we're getting like towards what was it, an hour, but I think the way that men can get out of loneliness, because it's just like when he talked about that, I was like, geez, men do have like a friendship problem. We do have a friendship problem, but it's and I'm always like kind of wondering like how can we get out of that friendship problem? How can we approach this? And I think there's like many different approaches. Everyone has like their own there's not like one right way to make friends or have that emotional closeness. I think it's emphasizing going on your desire and not like suppressing your desire. So I think my thing is all like men. Are you okay?
Yeah, I got a headache.
Okay. So my thing is like men actually want deep friendships, but it's hard for us to get there. And as like I guess I'll like ask you like as a woman.
As a woman.
Yeah,
As
as
a
a
woman.
woman, like what do you like see about like how men can get out of their loneliness for alone?
I don't know if this will go along with. I had a thought I was already gonna say, but
Okay.
I think going back, it's easier said than done again.
Mhm.
But I think going back to that like childhood mentality of
Yeah.
like putting it like out there like verbally.
Okay.
And telling someone like, hey, would you like to be my friend, or would you like to do this thing called friendship?
Yeah, and that's
Because I
like,
feel
wait,
like, yeah, and
I want that confidence. Though,
as
'cause I'm, like,
blunt as it sounds,
so-
it's I feel like it's, in my own personal view, I feel like it's probably the healthiest approach
yeah.
to friendship, because with that bluntness comes honesty, and it's like, hey, like I want a friendship.
Yeah.
So you already establish what your desire is with that relationship.
Right.
So you're making it clear to them, like, I will be committed. Like, do you want to be committed too?
And it's like it's so normal to do that like in romantic relationships, but like why is that? What about friendship? We can still like communicate our desire. Like, hey, I want to get to know you better. I want to deepen this friendship, or I want to be friends.
Yeah.
Do you want to be friends?
Yeah.
It's
And
like scary.
and
to
through
ask.
just like a simple statement as such, I feel like you build so much transparency in that
Transparency.
relationship.
Yeah.
Because you both already know each other's expectations of what you want
Mhm.
and what you expect to come out of that relationship. It's
Mhm.
not just like I'll talk to you when I like
When I
like,
can. So, yeah.
like no, it's a friendship,
Yeah.
and you both are on the same page of that. And then I guess you can lead into different conversations of what your attachment styles are or whatever. I don't know. But you can build off of that, and so
Yeah.
that was
I think
on
that's
my end.
I think that's a good thing to at least start off with, like that foundation is to ask, do you want to be friends? But it could be very awkward because as adults it's kind of like expected that you're supposed to just know how to make friends. But I think honestly most of us really don't really know how to make friends, or just kind of like doing the best we can. I think that's like this.
I mean, we did, yeah.
What?
We became friends.
Yeah, but like we didn't like know like how to like just.
We
do
didn't
this.
we didn't say it like that though. We weren't like oh like, let's become friends.
Yeah.
We were just like talking.
Yeah.
I know with like me and you, Micah, like we started out as like small talk and saying like,
Yeah.
hey, how are you? Like, what's your
Yeah.
name? What's your major?
At the bonfire.
All that kind of stuff. And I know the exact spot too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
All three
Maria.
of us. Yeah.
I don't know.
Me,
Like
you,
you were asking as a woman,
Mhm.
how do I draw that out of a man? Not in a romantic sense.
Or just like
I-
how can we deal with like, or like at least with like what's your like perspective on the men's like loneliness problem? What do you think we can like kind of, how can we like get out of?
I feel
that?
like for that, it's like whenever I meet a man that seems to be lonely or wants a friend or needs a friend,
Mhm.
if I can be there for them, I think the best step to get them to cross that boundary of, or not boundary, but cross that line
Hurdle.
into being friendship, to accepting friendship, and
Mhm.
to help with their loneliness, I think is you be the first one to be vulnerable.
Oh, that's powerful. It's like always being the first one, because I think like another thing like when with friendship we just like kind of expect it to happen,
Right.
but
Someone's got to go first.
Someone
And
does ha-
sometimes it
yeah.
might be the woman.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can't always feel like you're the third wheel because
Wait,
maybe you
what?
want to join them.
Well,
Wait, what?
I don't know. Well, I think like doing like in a man to man like friendship, can you like come back? You kind of like in that like context, showing that you want to be friends and showing that like intentionality I feel like can often be seen as, is this person coming on to me? Like, why are they showing like this much like intentionality and some like. Yeah. Do you like understand? What, yeah,
That's
sexual. Do you understand what?
yeah.
Coming on to me.
Do you understand like what I'm saying?
I think men might be afraid that like their best friend, like they don't want to be too open because they're afraid their best friend is going to be like try to go romantic.
Yes, I think that's why like
Yes.
that's where it gets like
It's the
really.
bromance.
Yeah.
Romance.
Well, bromance is like
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to
it's like
realize
genuine like
Yeah.
friendship.
Close,
It's
yeah,
connection.
closeness.
Yeah.
And I say that because I think that's why sometimes men can be afraid to express their desire to have friendship or to be intentional because it's perceived in a romantic sense.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm not like romantically into you. I just want to be your friend. And it's like, you know, you're always afraid of how the other guy will take it.
You know, that does happen.
Yeah.
I can relate to that, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but, and I mentioned that because, like, history, it was just, like, very seen as just normal to declare your friendship and to, like, affirm it. It was so normal, but...
No, that one article, yeah.
Yeah, the article. I don't know if
was
you
that... I read some of it. I just don't know, like, that... Was that actually genuine, though? That was real? Okay.
Yeah, it was real.
Okay.
So it was, like, normal back then.
It was cool, yeah.
To have that expressing that that intentionality. And I'm trying to, like, wrap it up. I don't know, like, it's like an hour, so I'm gonna, like, wrap it up soon. But I think intentionality it's like a word that keeps coming back.
Goes with, like, do you want to try to be friends? You know?
Yeah,
Is
it goes
making
with
it clear
that.
to them what you want and what you expect, and they're agreeing or they're putting their own boundaries or whatever it is that they want in that friendship.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like friendship, like you're being clear about that.
And naming is so important. I feel like it's just
Yeah.
important in naming it.
Do you think it would help if you share your sexuality at the beginning? I don't know if that's appropriate.
No.
Probably not appropriate.
The
but
reason I say that is because it shouldn't be like we should be able to express our intentionality with friendship without like having to say like, okay, I'm not gay. Like we should be able to like we
I
should be
believe
able
that's
to do that.
100%.
Like I should be able to say, hey Demetri, I want to like get to know you on a deeper level, but I should be comfortable just saying that without like saying, okay, but like no homo. Like I shouldn't have to say that. Which is like
I never thought I'd hear you say that.
Which
That
is
was
like
weird.
it's like a common.
It's society's fault for ruining something like that because society today has ruined the reputation of true friendship, especially between men.
Yeah.
And it's really sad to
That's
see.
real. Actually, that's real.
And actually, like, the environment of, like, all of this is affecting friendships.
Mm-hmm.
So that can, like, trigger it a lot.
No, because like, sorry, I immediately thought when you were. I'll put this down.
I'm so.
No, like, I think it's cool when people do that, but like, I immediately thought. You remember when you were talking about like when you and Royce were like.
Well, we were
you were on the
cuddling.
couch.
We were on the couch cuddling.
No,
Do you
I'm
remember
saying-
that?
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying, when I
Yes.
first heard that, I'm not gonna lie, the first thing in my head, maybe this is like society, maybe that's just me. I was like, okay, like I thought that was weird. I thought it was like it made me uncomfortable. I was like, I don't know if I could put myself in that position. That's what I was
Yeah,
saying.
which is like,
It was
given
just
like
me.
this,
That's just
given
me.
the society, it's like normal because in other like societies in other countries, it's like normal for friends and like men like male friends to like hold hands. It is normal to be affectionate in other countries. Like doing the research, it actually is, and it's not seen as like a sexual thing. And this is like I keep like coming back to this problem is like we're communicating our desire. Our desire is platonic, not romantic, and that's that's kind of what it's just is normal. Like for the men listening to the podcast, it's normal if you want to be more intentional about your friendship and your friendships. It's
Intentional. Yeah. Share your intentions.
yeah, share your intentions.
Mm.
How do we want to wrap this up?
Okay. Oh, wait, are we wrapping up right now?
Yeah.
Okay. If anyone made it this far, you guys listened probably better than I could. I probably couldn't listen for an hour, but appreciate it. Anyway, if you guys made it this far, come on our Instagram, your favorite animal, and then you'll let us know if anyone actually listened this far. Also, let us know. And if you comment an animal, also we're thinking about maybe doing call-ins one time for an episode, like on the phone, like people call in.
Oh, Collins. Oh, okay.
Call-ins.
Yeah.
Call-ins.
So if you comment your favorite animal, we'll know that you're interested in that. Because I think that could be a good idea.
That's a good
'Cause
idea.
I have like friends back home that think this is cool and they would do it. But yeah, okay.
Okay,
That's all I
cool.
want to say.
We will all see you next week. Thank you for watching, and hope well goes for you too.
Wait, or like always gotta say our names. Like we gotta sign off.
I think we all did.
Oh, okay, never mind.
At the
never mind.
beginning. At the
Okay.
beginning.
Yes.
I just say be okay with genuine friendship and share your intentions and don't be afraid to reach out.
And one more thing. If you're ever struggling with making friends, always look up the basic rules on knowing how to make friends. I know from my experience, that's what helps me the most.
Yeah, share your intentions. Don't be so hard on yourself if friendship probably isn't what you
Be gentle.
it can be awkward or whatever. Friendship is kind of a trial and error thing, and remember that there's no specific rule book for friendship. You learn through trial and error and experiences.
Yeah.
So
And I would say, like, for men, is to get kind of to help with our loneliness problem is to move past those social ideas about sexuality and how that is like we kind of project that onto friendship. Kind of move past that and to try to be more intentional about your desire. All right, we're signing out.
bye.
Peace out.
Bye. Bye.